What's up, you guys? Welcome to today's video. As you can tell by the title, I'm going to be blind reacting to prisons in Russia, which is my most requested reaction video to do next. I recently did reacting to prison in Norway, which was so eye-opening and so great. I feel like if America just did like a 1/10 of what Norway is doing, we would be in a lot better shape. But that's not what today's video is. Today's video is Russia. If you guys are new here, hi, my name is Jess. I'm a person in long-term recovery who's been to prison, and my entire crazy life story is in the description box down below. If you want to follow me on any other social media platform, TikTok, we're almost at 1 million, Instagram, Patreon, that's $2. It's only ever gonna be $2. All of that is linked down below, as well as my vlog channel where you can see me doing vlog stuff, like going to Vegas and getting a puppy and all the random stuff I do in my life. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and kick this thing off. Also, Larry does these kinds of videos too, so I wanna give a shout out to my homie Larry Lawton and his book Gangster Redemption, which I just finished. So good. He signed it for me. I freaking love Larry. He's the GOAT for real, and hopefully I'm going to be able to meet him soon and give you guys some content with me and Larry in person.
Terrorists, assassins, mafia bosses, serial killers. The Russian courts have given them the maximum penalty. Life imprisonment.
Okay, I'm just gonna stop here. It looks like they're like in military clothes, like with the camo and the key and the lock. All of that just reminds me of some facilities here, so.
Here, that really means until the end of their lives. They are all imprisoned on Fire Island.
Ooh.
The island of the damned. For centuries, during the time of the SARS, the prison was a monastery. Now, it houses 200 dangerous criminals. No one.
That's a small facility, 200 inmates, like that is a really small place. And the outside of this looks like a house to me with like the bars on the inside, so that's super strange.
Ever managed to escape?
Snitch ass dog, I'm just kidding. Jokes, jokes. Wow.
Our walls are between 80 and 150 centimeters thick. You can't dig a hole through them overnight without being noticed.
The island is surrounded by water and swampland.
Wow, look
In
at
the
that.
summer, temperatures reach 35 degrees Celsius. In winter, they can
Wait, 35 degrees Celsius. Is that cold? I'm so
fall
ridiculous.
to minus 30.
Okay.
There are inmates in this northern Russian maximum security prison who would prefer the death penalty to continuing their incarceration here.
Oh no.
At the moment, I'd prefer the firing squad. What have I got to live for anyway?
A paid job in the prison sewing shop is a privilege. Those who conform are allowed to work here. Those who don't can only escape the boredom of their cells during yard time. Pacing round and round.
Oh my gosh. Look at this yard time. Like, this just reminds me of American prisons. It looks a little different. Yard time when you're in solitary confinement looks like this. Yard time when you're in general population is an actual yard, like with grass and like a basketball court and stuff. So this looks like solitary confinement.
Human cages,
which is the worst.
for the rest of their lives. Fire Island is reserved for those men who committed their crimes with particularly lower motives and extreme cruelty.
Okay. So do you see how they unlocked the gate to go through this hallway? It looks a little different here, but you can't walk freely in a prison, in a maximum security prison in America. You have to be buzzed through these doors, and there isn't actually keys here. Like, the control room will see you on the camera and they'll buzz you through, if that makes sense. But it looks eerily similar.
3:05 p.m. Cell number 8, Wing 4. Captain Dimitriou, open up.
Prisoner, hands behind your back.
He's cuffing up. We do this here. He's gonna put his arms through the... Oh, he's not. Oh, it's a...
Yuri Levanov, convicted under Section 2 of Articles 105, 103. The sentence was passed on March 24th, 2016.
I'm sorry, I thought that that was just one door. He opened that door and then there was bars behind it, which is very different. So in America, if you're in a solitary cell, what you do is you cuff up and you put your arms through the little slot. That's where they feed you. That looks so different. Oh my gosh.
In cell 8, there are 8 inmates. 3 are at work. Turn to face me. Good morning. We'll now search your cell for forbidden items. No forbidden items here.
Seems
Turn your
very
back to me.
proper.
We're putting the handcuffs on.
Okay, so see, he put his arms through the bars. That's how we cuff up here too. That's what I thought he was gonna do when he was at that first store. I know a lot of people say that Russian sounds mean. I think it's beautiful. Like, I think it sounds really pretty and I just love accents. I don't think it sounds mean. I think it sounds proper. I don't know if proper is the word. Just the way they're translating it sounds really like proper English, but in Russian. I'm stupid. That doesn't make any sense.
Sharp and pointed items are forbidden. They could be used as weapons or tools for escaping.
Come out here. Face the wall.
Other side.
Any prohibited items on you?
No.
Articles 105 and 103 of the Russian Criminal Code deal with murder. Sex offender and killer Levanov cruelly and brutally murdered his girlfriend. Guards search Levanov's cell.
So they're searching this cell. He killed a woman, his girlfriend, and he is a SO, a chomo, or sex offender. He would not have an easy time in an American prison either, and he would probably be killed because he hurt a woman. The dentist coming in once a month, that's really not uncommon for America too, but these rooms, this like infirmary wing is what we're gonna call it, looks terrible. It looks awful. You just get such a, please go watch the whole video, I'll link it down below, but you just get such a dark feeling just watching this video, so I can't imagine what it must feel like to actually live there. Prison is a dark place.
And if any inmates need an injection or an intravenous drip, that all happens in this room.
In a cage, okay. Wow. So even in the infirmary, if you need an IV or you need anything like that, they put you in a cage like that. This is hard.
In the monastery, there was a graveyard, of course.
Graveyard.
When we built the sewing shop, we found this gravestone. Lieutenant Colonel Dmitry Timoshin died 10th December 1858.
So that's not an inmate's grave, I believe. I just kind of want to touch on gravestones in American prisons often don't have your name written on them, and every state is different, every facility is different. But I did an interview with Kim, Officer Kim. I will link that down below or put it on the card. She worked at Indiana State Prison and they just put the number of the person. They didn't even put their name on the headstone. That just reminded me of that. Writing is pretty.
Cells for dangerous criminals in the Church of the Resurrection of Christ. Frescoes in the prison computer room. Many former atheist inmates have meanwhile found solace in the Russian Orthodox faith. The murderer Mikhail Bukharov has documented his path to religion in tattoos.
So it's not uncommon for people to have religious experiences and lean on religious beliefs in prison, so it's not uncommon.
He stabbed an acquaintance 48 times,
Ooh.
more or less dismembering him. He was afraid the acquaintance would press charges against him after committing a robbery.
A robbery it was just a robbery and it turned into murder. That's awful, but I've heard that many times. Oh,
Can
wow.
you see who's holding this being in his hand? The devil. Yes, the devil or evil.
Wow.
What's this tattoo got to do with God? Nothing. I did it before I'd found God.
And prison tattoos, also not uncommon. And I always think that their art is beautiful. And you guys know I love tattoos, so wow. I'm like tense watching this. You know, I'm on edge. But when you walk into a maximum security prison, no matter what country it's in, you feel this heavy, dark feeling. And it's intense just watching how awful their prison is. It just seems very cold with no rehabilitation at all because they're there for the rest of their lives for heinous crimes. So this is called The Toughest Prison on Fire Island, and I highly recommend watching this whole thing.
And when did you find your faith? 3 years after the tattoo on my back.
Oh wow, 3 years.
Is that prisoner you? Yes, above me is God, who forgives our sins. And you really are religious today? Yes. So you found your way to God in prison? Yes, after the sentence of death by firing squad. When was that? 1994. Why wasn't the sentence carried out? Because there was a moratorium on death penalties. When? I think it was 1994.
Wow. Wow. Just to think that in 1994 in Russia, they sentenced him to death by firing squad, and now he's serving a life without sentence. Like, what?
So the death penalty converted you? Yes.
Ugh. Wow.
At the moment, I would prefer to be shot. What am I supposed to do here? What have I got to live for?
Yeah. I would feel the same.
There's always the chance of parole after 25 years. What chance? It's all just theory. Some have been here for 30 years. Nobody gets out alive.
Wow. I do want to say that I've met a lot of women in Arkansas that have life with parole that have been there 30 years, 40 years, and they don't believe that they're ever going to get out, even though they do have a sentence that says with the possibility of parole. I am going to film a video on women that killed their abusers, so be on the lookout for that video. It's going to be a really emotional video because I've met a lot of women that went through that. I can understand his feeling there. Hope can kind of be a dangerous thing, and you can get your heart broken, and I understand not wanting to believe that you're going to get out because it's almost like setting you up for, you know what I mean? Like getting your hopes up for nothing. Look at that shot of that prison.
He'll leave Fire Island is in a coffin because he committed a particularly brutal murder.
We don't need to hear about his brutal murder.
Most guards know roughly what crimes the prisoners have committed.
Guards
but
know.
Don't really bother with the details.
Yeah.
A matter of self-protection, so they don't become emotionally brutalized themselves.
Yep. It's common.
Analyzing crimes is a psychologist's job. It's for them to say whether a lifer is theoretically mature enough to be allowed out on parole after 25 years.
Yep.
I keep out of it most of the time. Otherwise, all this filth would drive me crazy. Lots of the murders are simply just barbaric.
I understand wanting to protect yourself from those details. He has to work there every day.
A few steps without handcuffs and no cellmates to disturb him.
Life imprisonment has nothing to do with the end of your life. Every human being lives, learns, works, and despite all the adversities, tries to start a new chapter in their lives.
wouldn't the death penalty spare you a lot?
No, not everyone would want to die. Not even in a situation like this. I love my life and don't want to lose it.
What is this?
We have 2 apartments where inmates and their families can meet.
What?
First 10 years of imprisonment, it's once a year for 3 days. After that, for good behavior, 2 such visits can be arranged per year.
Wow. I'm sorry, does the world's toughest prison in Russia allow a private visit with your wife and children, but America doesn't? We should care about keeping families together, and the fact that Russia's doing this and America is not, like, I don't know, I just feel like we should be paying attention to the things that other countries are doing. I think the American prison system has so much work to do. The fact that Russia is doing this, I think it's great.
This is the children's room. A maximum of 2 adults and 1 child are allowed to visit. They have to present documents showing that they're close relatives. Here's the kitchen.
Super basic, super simple, but it's giving families a chance to stay together and have, you know, some privacy, and, you know, I think that's really important. Wow.
How can you guarantee that a prisoner on a life sentence won't do any harm to his wife
Good
or his
question.
parents?
Good question.
We can't guarantee anything. That's why every inmate is screened thoroughly before any kind of meeting takes place. If we think there won't be any problems, we give the green light.
Has anything ever happened?
No, the prisoners have enough brains not to do anything. After all, it's their wives, parents, and children visiting them. During the approval process, we check through all their letters. We make sure there are no insults going back and forth. We check everything.
Wow. I love it. So there's music playing, and this is gonna be the last thing that I share. Please go watch the full video. So there are 5 other prisons on Fire Island, and on Fire Island, almost 2,000 men are serving life sentences. So my overall thoughts is America needs to care about conjugal visits or private family visits so that we can keep families together. Also, I'm not that surprised, you know, it is a very dark, very difficult prison with not a lot to offer as far as rehabilitation or privileges. You know, working in the sewing shop is a privilege. The yard is very not yardish. It kind of just feels like you're doing time in solitary confinement. From a former American inmate's perspective, it just looks like you're doing time in solitary confinement. I think they do have other cellmates, but the feel of solitary confinement is very similar to the feel of what I just saw. That's my reaction. I think that it's really tough, and I do believe that most people can be rehabilitated. However, I do think that not everyone should be released. You know, if you're a danger to society, you should be kept in prison. I do have a hard time with not offering a lot of rehabilitative services, because if you do get out and you've been treated so harshly for so long, it does deep psychological damage, as does solitary confinement. I believe in treating everyone with respect and decency and kindness, and treating them as I would want to be treated. I believe that we should be rehabilitating inmates and helping them reintegrate into society, because that benefits everyone. It benefits the person, but it also benefits a society, because you can't release a violent, dangerous, angry person into the world and expect them to be well-adjusted and not a danger to people that they encounter. So I think America has a lot of problems, and we have a lot of work to do. But yeah, I'm gonna end today's video here. Let me know what country you guys want me to do next, or if you want me to do more prisons in Russia, let me know in the comment section down below. I'm gonna end today's video here. As always, I love you guys. Stay safe, stay sober. Please do not break the law. Try your best not to. And I'll see you in my next one.